Fantastic. We're recording. I hope that's all right. I don't want to miss these golden moments that we're about to have. And hey, it's Bullet Ige. What's up, my man? Let's see. I think I can ask you to unmute. If you want to say a few words, it's great to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. It's nice having you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you want to say a few words to the group? Okay. All right. Well, I expect this is going to be, we have 8 people here. That's pretty good. It's 5:07. I don't know. What do you think, Bully? Do I get started? I'm going to ask you to unmute again. Should I go for it?
Okay. You can, yes, we can proceed.
Okay, rock and roll. Let's make it happen. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you all some exciting slides. And I think we'll probably have some laughs and do some learning. So from what Bola Ige told me, you will mostly be familiar with Bitcoin as a general concept, but we might go over a few things again. So I want to talk about Bitcoin, and I want to talk about Zcash and shielded coins and ZK snarks, and the way that the importance of not having transaction data public in terms of like freedom and humanity, and what I see as like a world of mind control that we're moving into with social media algorithms, with targeted advertising. I don't feel like I'm very much in control of myself anymore. And I suspect when everyone's transaction history is public, things will be worse. So that's one reason I'm excited about anonymity in blockchain inventions, because blockchain has a lot of great applications, but the complication or the confounder there is the lack of privacy. And that's something that that coins like Monero and Zcash and shielded coins all try to do. Interestingly enough, Monero had like a pretty, I don't know, I actually can't tell how bad it is, but people are acting like it's super bad, pretty bad linkability bug recently. And the hope is that, and the aim is that ZK snarks are supposed to be super duper secure because it's actually like encrypted data on a blockchain, not like obfuscation. And in history, that's sort of been what works better than obfuscation and mixing. And so we're going to talk about Zcash and why privacy is important. And we're going to bring that into, of course, my application, which is called ZECpages. And I don't know, we'll go there. So this is maybe putting the cart before the horse here, but this little icon, yeah, this is actually definitely putting the cart before the horse. So we won't talk about that just yet. I want to talk about a Bitcoin transaction versus a Zcash transaction or any kind of shielded transaction. The idea is Bitcoin is pseudonymous. It's like my name was ABC and your name was XYZ. And that gets written on Bitcoin forever. On everyone's copy of the ledger, it says, well, you know, ABC sent XYZ this much money. Every transaction sits there. Anyone can read it and it's there for good. A shielded transaction in Zcash aims to be fully anonymous in terms of it doesn't reveal who made the transaction or how much money changed hands. And that might seem like, oh, that's a fringe thing. Oh, that might be something a criminal's interested in. But honestly, I think it's really important for everyday human dignity that this becomes a workable standard for blockchain technologies. And the idea is these sophisticated mathematical structures called ZK snarks that I certainly don't understand on a deep level, I'll confess, are aiming to hide the sender, recipient, and amount. And you see this instead of this. In Bitcoin, you have a name. It's just an ugly name that isn't like readable by people. So I forget what the next slide is. We'll find out together. Oh, this is about UTXOs and the idea that if you have a stack of Bitcoin and I send you like a piece of it, we are like bound together forever, right? You go spend that somewhere, everyone sees that this transaction happened. I go spend my money somewhere, everyone sees that transaction happen. And we are like bosom blood brothers Bitcoin blood brothers once we've made that transaction. And so we're forever associated. And I hope you still like the way you feel about me in a year, and that our governments like the way that I act, because your reputation and your identity are forever bound to mine. So that is a confounder. In Bitcoin, those are called UTXOs. But the idea is every time you have a big chunk and you split off a smaller chunk, it actually makes like two distinct entities. Like you get a little piece of coin, I get my coin, and they're bound together forever. And I was thinking about this, preparing this presentation, and it's really interesting that Bitcoin, I think, is one of the first monies where the second you spend it, the rest of the money that you still have, your own stash, you spend a little bit, the rest of it becomes tainted, which is kind of interesting. I'm trying to think of other things in the world that are like that as an analogy. If you can, leave it in the chat down below. So I'm ahead of myself here. Okay. So the issue here is something called fungibility. And fungible is a word I only learned when I started learning about Bitcoin. And people say Bitcoin is fungible, and I would tell you that is not true. So what fungible means is you have one coin, I have one coin, and they're the same. But if they all have histories, they aren't the same, because this coin got mined on this day and it passed through 25 people's hands, and this coin got mined yesterday and I just got it. They're totally different. And in fact, freshly mined Bitcoin sells at a premium because it's clean. And on the other side of the spectrum, Bitcoin that's tied to illegal activity is tainted forever, and it's on a blacklist. It's not really fungible if you can blacklist it, and you can find thousands. I don't think thousands. You can find a lot of instances of Bitcoin addresses being blacklisted. I think Iranian addresses have been blacklisted. These North Korean addresses have been blacklisted, but it's not just terror that might be worried about their transaction history. Let's talk about other BTC you might not want because you've spent somewhere you don't want to be connected to. Maybe you paid a medical specialist, right? I know no one needs to know you have a back problem or whatever other problem you have, but if someone's monitoring transaction data and they see you paid a back specialist, someone can reasonably conclude you had a back problem. Let's maybe say you were feeling naughty, you shopped at a sex shop. I don't think you want that logged forever. In fact, money that bought anything could be used against you because we are in an Amazon, Twitter, big data marketing world where I feel very much out of control of myself. I feel marketed to all the time, and I don't think many of my decisions are my own. But that level of corporate, data-driven, algorithmic mind control is only going to get worse if like every company can buy a little graph that instantly tells them what their customers bought, right? Imagine you walk into a store and just a little display shows what you've bought. There's probably laws in place to prevent that, but there's a lot of anonymized data that ends up revealing people's details anyway. So there is a little too much out there on the BTC blockchain. One other feature that I want to jump into on Zcash that it has on top of its privacy feature, although privacy is so the more important one, right? The fact that this is an untraceable blockchain payment is the really important part. The other side is every transaction does have a memo, which is nice. You can write a little note on it. There are other ways you can store data in other blockchains. You could leave a note on Ethereum. You can leave a note on a few different blockchains. You can use something called op return on Bitcoin to leave a little message. Satoshi did it, but this is more user-friendly, and it's a specific 512 byte like block that's on every transaction. And if you don't write a memo, it's still there with like padding, right? So it's all designed to look the same way. So anyway, just know that I can write a note with every transaction I make on Zcash. And that brings me to blockchain applications, right? A lot of people say, when do you need a blockchain? And the truth is, it depends. There are some specific reasons why you might want a blockchain for your application. My application is called ZECpages. We're going to talk about it soon. Do I have it up next? Yeah, this is it. It's very simple, and that's the point. It's supposed to be like a little example of what you can do. It is just a list of posts, just like Twitter. Like it's just a feed of posts that people make. And these were all made using a Zcash encrypted memo. Someone sent me a dime, which is great, along with a note. And then my application says, hey, thanks for the dime. It actually doesn't say thanks. I say that. But it makes the new post. So someone sent a Zcash transaction with 3 shield emojis. Someone sent a Zcash transaction that said very nice with their address, so you can let them know that you agree it's nice. Someone's promoting the Zine Team demo app, and someone is trying to get political in the Zcash world. It's actually kind of cool how much Zcash users have used ZECpages to get political, but that's another story for another day. I need to cough. How do I mute? Thank goodness. I apologize. All right, so let's talk about why this is a special thing, because right here it doesn't look like much more than an ugly Twitter. The idea behind this is an application structure where you have a web app that lives on top of a blockchain. And so there's this global data source called a blockchain, which in this case is Zcash, and everyone can share it and everyone can interact with it, and there's no permissions. And my app lives on top of it. So you send a Zcash transaction and my app just checks it and saves it in its own database. So there's a global data source that I cache and build a UI for on top of. And what's really neat about that is my app is like a building block, and anyone else can come along and make their own little module that sits on the same data, it's publicly available, that I share. We'll talk about that. So before I get ahead of myself, I think it's Balaji Srinivasan was the first place I heard a blockchain MVC app, and he was talking about how it could be a globally accessible data source. And let's see, it'd be driven by events on a blockchain. In ZECpages case, that's a transaction of a dime coming in. If I get the dime, I make your post. And so that's an event on the blockchain that makes something happen in my full stack web app. We'll talk about how this is shareable very soon, but a blockchain as a database is durable. No one can destroy it. It's distributed to a network of computers. It's easy to share. Everyone can view it if they want, and anyone can interact with it. I could not ban anyone from ZECpages if I tried. I can delete posts, and I'll talk about that, but no one, because of the nature of the blockchain, anyone can add to it. I can't stop anyone from sending a transaction on a blockchain because I don't control it. So when is a blockchain useful? This is a big question that people are wrestling with, and this is my best answer. If you want a system that's open to anyone, that's a great reason to use a blockchain, because all you need is some BTC to send some BTC and interact with the blockchain. All you need is a little bit of ZEC in order to send ZEC, or in this case, interact with ZECpages, right? But there's no way you can be banned from the network, which is really powerful. When you want a system's data to be auditable, it's really good because the blockchain is persisted on this whole distributed network of computers. And so everyone has a copy of it. It's durable. It's never going to go away. The Bitcoin blockchain is pretty much eternal. Like it's like a sculpture that's on everyone's lawn, man. It's huge. And when the other time would be if you want to use a feature of the blockchain. And for ZEC, I use it because it's entirely private, so people can interact with it anonymously, and also because you can easily share it using the view key, which to me is really cool, because then you have this world of competing apps sitting on the global data, like I mentioned. Viewing keys. This is what I told you I'd talk about when I said why the data can be easily shared. This big ugly string here is called a Zcash view key, and it lets you see all the transactions that made ZECpages the way it is. You add this to your wallet, and you can see all the blockchain events that drove ZECpages to have these posts. You can make sure that there was a transaction for a post and that I didn't just add it for free. You can see which posts I've deleted, and I have deleted some posts. And you can share it, most importantly. If you go to ZECpages.com/boardinfo, you'll see this string. You can save it, you can import it to your wallet, and you will see all the transactions of ZECpages right then and there. So it's easy to share. and I have mine up publicly, and I invite people to build on the same data source. Also, like the ability to view people's transactions might tie into regulation. Like the idea that you could have, I don't know, maybe the United States would be okay with it if you had a wallet and shared your view key, so the IRS got a nice view into it. Honestly, that'd still be preferable than Bitcoin, because like every social media company that markets to me, every like foreign intelligence operative would theoretically be boxed out if my view key was competently custodied by a trusted institution like the good old American IRS. That's our tax agency. I don't know if that's common knowledge. So the ZECpages board is cool because anyone can post, but nobody knows who posted. Anyone can download the entire history of posts using the view key. And all it is just a little cache and a user interface that sits on top of a transaction-based blockchain, much like Bitcoin, much like Ethereum. The censorship of it is totally auditable, and I have deleted posts. Absolutely. It's it's not surprising in the anonymous world that I've had some posts that I thought were questionable or offensive, and when I thought they didn't add to the conversation, I deleted them. And you can go into the history on the blockchain, because I can't delete them from there, and you can see those posts and you can go, wow, yeah, that was a jerk post. I'm glad Mike deleted that. I'm confident you'll be happy with my decision making. So the data is freely shared, and I imagine a future of social media apps where they all pull from one data source, and what makes them different is just what they look like and how they choose to filter the same data. I think that could be really powerful, and I think it could be really empowering for users. An auditable, right now we have social media algorithms where no one really knows how they work, and no one really knows what got deleted. Like we can take screenshots, but we'll never be able to track it all. But you could absolutely like build programs that perfectly tell you what posts have been deleted in social media history if it was all stored on a blockchain. So other things that I think you could do with this same sort of scheme, you could upload images. As long as you just uploaded them to a third-party site, even like Imgur, right? You just upload your image somewhere, grab the URL, paste it in your memo, and then I could theoretically parse that on the ZECpages side. That could be cool. It's kind of a scary concept, but I think it'd be exciting. I've also thought about polling, either having people pay like to vote on ZECpages, like you pay at 10 cents to make this vote, or you pay 10 cents to make this vote, and like it tallies up the transactions. I like that because a transaction is a time commitment. And so like to game it, people would have to write Python scripts, which I respect. Another side would be you could even just have people share their view keys and then vote, and I could look at how much money they had staked on that vote. So they could just post their view key for either vote option, and that would be effectively staked polling. And also another idea would be to let you spin up your own boards instead of running my own ZECpages. You could add your view key, you could get the transactions, you could have maybe a little bit of control over whether or not that board is disclosed. But most specifically, you would be the one who starts getting paid for posts if that was integrated. A guy named Chris Nuttycombe uses this for a site called AFTalk, which is a like business coordination platform. And basically he uses Zcash to clock in and clock out anonymously and transparently on projects. So like if we're both working together and I work from 8 to 6, I can like click the Zcash button, send the transaction, and I've anonymously indicated that I am on the clock. But also everyone can see it was me. I can leave metadata in the memo. So I thought that was kind of a neat application. And it also pays team members in ZEC, in theory, I think. I think crowdfunding could be kind of interesting to do with this. And any kind of traditional web app could live on this because you have 512 bytes on every transaction. You can put JSON in there. You can put like a hash in there. You can put whatever you want that you want to store that drives your website. What else do I have? That is, in fact, all I have prepared. I'm interested to see how long that took me. I don't think that was 45 minutes, but I speak quickly when I'm nervous. It's 5:26. That was only 20 minutes. So I apologize that you didn't get the bang for your buck on that end, but that is what I had prepared. I would love to take time to take any questions. I don't see anything in chat. Let's see. I'm gonna lower hands, and if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand, and I will give you the unmute, and we can talk about wherever you're at. Hey, Israel. Absolutely.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Yo, how you doing?
You know, Israel, your audio is breaking up. If you type your question in chat, I will absolutely answer it. Anyone? I know that's quick. I know it's a lot to go over, but it's also hard for me to remember. Before I knew a bunch of stuff about crypto, and I like lived and breathed this ecosystem. So if you have any questions, I definitely jump in. But I'm afraid I spoke quickly, and it is 5:30 a.m. and here we are. Bullet Ega, you wanna? Yeah, absolutely. If not, I will just I will give you all the time back, and I will thank you very kindly for coming by and hanging out. I hope you think a bit about privacy and how it can empower humanity. I think it's going to be super important to all sorts of people. Augustina says, I really want to know more about this. It's hard to know where you're at. How often we're going to be meeting here? That's a really good question. You know what? I'm going to toss it over to my man Bola Ige to bring it on home here. Oh, yeah, I see. You would like a copy of the lecture. I think that's a really good call. Let me find a way to export it, and I will send you all a link right now. There is a PDF of the slides in the chat if anyone is interested in downloading. I appreciate you asking. Thank you, Isabel. I'm afraid I don't know the scheduled dates for the meetings, and I can't seem to get Ige unmuted. But that would be a question for him. Well, my friends, I think Bola Ige has the answers to the rest of your questions. I thank you all for hanging out and listening. Can someone invest? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider it an investment per se. I would consider it speculative, maybe a level up from buying a lottery ticket. But yes, you can. I'm not familiar actually with African exchanges. That would be another really good question for Bola Ige. But yeah, I think Zcash is like $100 right now. I don't know. I saw Bitcoin tank. Zcash probably lost the $100. Let's see. Let's look together. I'm going to share my screen and we'll look at the price together, and it will be a fun experience. So holding $100, that would just be a thrill, wouldn't it? Wow. Didn't Bitcoin lose it down to 37 again? Cool. All right. Well, I'm okay with this. I think we're all going to be okay is really that's really the thought I want to leave you with. How much can someone invest with? Not a penny more than you would burn with fire. Okay. And there's a piece of wisdom for anyone who does if you wouldn't take the money and light it on fire and like be okay with your life, you absolutely shouldn't invest in any kind of crypto, because this stuff goes super up and down. I mean, you can make your own calls, but it's hella risky, and I would not advise anyone to put themselves in potential financial jeopardy over crypto. So in terms of the question, actually, how much can someone invest with? Like whatever covers the fees for your exchange. How many hours is the meeting? I'm afraid I don't have much more for you, Sonia. I'm sorry. You theoretically could invest like $5. You buy $5 in Zcash, five American dollars. In theory, but again, that should be $5 you don't need for anything. I really wish I could tell you, Sonia. I don't know if Bola Ige is AFK. I'm gonna give him one more try to unmute because he is our meeting coordinator. I'm just the guest. I'm the speaker. I'm here to talk about nerd stuff, and maybe you have like nice hair. I think that's what I'm here for. I really do like this because scammer are everywhere. This is the best. I would agree that you need to be wary of most figures in this space and keep your head about you. That's definitely a good point. Can someone trade? Yeah, it's on a lot of exchanges. Yeah. Trading again, it's super risky, but you absolutely can. There's Zcash VR. What's up, man? Appreciate you coming.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Bola Ige, we've got some questions in the chat about how often you're planning to meet, and when the next meeting is, and how long meetings are.
Okay. You said I should attend to some of the questions, right? Hello?
Yeah, I answered some questions, but there are some people who are wondering how often meetings are. I'm curious about that too. How often are meetings?
Oh, please come again. I can barely hear you.
Oh, okay. How frequently will you be having these meetings?
Oh, okay. It's monthly.
Monthly. Excellent.
Yes. Yep.
Very cool. How long are they on average? An hour? Is that right?
Actually, we've been having a break from the meetings for a long while due to the COVID-19 and the likes. So, but now that the lockdown is over and everything is coming back to normal, so we are like, okay, we should resume back into our monthly meeting. So it's monthly meeting, and it's majorly used to last for an hour, 45 minutes of presentation, then 15 minutes of question and answer session.
Okay, well that sounds stellar. You know, everyone, keep your heads about you. Like Augustina said, keep your eyes peeled for scammers, and take care of yourselves more than anything. I am gonna peace out because it's early in the morning for me, and I really want to thank you all for being here. It means a lot that you came to listen. Each and every one of you, it's nothing but love. So I will speak to you all later.